Hi, everyone. Today we will be talking about menstruation, fertilization, and different birth control options. There is an assignment that is going to be due on Sunday at 11:59 that I'll talk about at the end of this lesson. Hopefully, if you did your female anatomy diagrams and you were in here for the lecture, then this will all kind of make a little bit of sense to you and help tie some of the things that we talked about in class together. So today, first, we're going to talk about the menstrual cycle. This is a regular natural change that occurs in the female reproductive system. It's a rhythmic cycle and it happens one time a month. It's about 28 days long, and day one does not start at the beginning of the month. Obviously, all females aren't on their period on the same day. Everyone starts at a different time. There are different phases that you go through these different stages of the menstrual cycle. So let's kind of grasp a concept on these, okay? On the first day of the menstrual cycle through the 5th or the 7th day, the female is going to have her period. We talked about how the uterus contracts and the uterine lining is shedding. This is why you do feel those cramps while you're on your period, because literally the walls of your uterus are shedding, and the dead cells and blood vessels are breaking away from the uterine lining. And during this time, another egg is beginning to mature in the ovaries. The next stage is the follicular phase. This is days 6 to 10, and this is when the uterus is preparing for a fertilized egg. So during this time, there is a egg cell that is maturing in the ovary, and also during this time, the uterine lining is thickening to prepare the uterus again for that fertilized egg. Moving on, days 11 to 18 is the ovulation phase. This is the days where if you're sexually active, you need to be extra careful, because during this time, an ovum is being released during ovulation. So they release an egg that is mature, called an ovum, from the ovary, and it's traveling in the fallopian tubes. During this ovulation phase, the ovum is traveling. It's going to take about 3 to 4 days. During this time, you have the best chance of conception. So the best chance that a sperm cell is going to come into contact with that egg cell. Then from days 21 through 28, there are two options that's going to happen. This is called the luteal phase. Option 1, the egg is not going to be fertilized, okay? So no sperm cell and egg cell come together. The egg is not fertilized. During this time, progesterone and estrogen are going to decrease sharply. The lining of the uterus, so those walls on the uterus, are going to shrink, and the cells are going to begin to die, causing your period. During this time, the egg is just going to dissolve. However, there is a second option. If the egg is fertilized, then the egg is going to attach to the uterine lining, and pregnancy is going to start. During days 15 through 20, the progesterone is released to prepare the body for pregnancy, and the egg will continue to travel in preparation for one of these two options to happen. Remember, the term fertilization is when that egg cell and that sperm cell unite. You can see kind of in this picture what that looks like. Basically, I'm going to sum up everything I just talked about by playing this video.
Menstruation, also called having a period. As girls get older and their bodies change, they get their periods. The uterus is the part inside the body where a baby grows when a woman is pregnant. The inner lining of the uterus supports and nourishes the developing baby. If there is no baby, the lining is shed during her period. During a period, blood and other tissue from the uterus leave the body through the vagina. A period can last from a few days to about a week. You may have heard doctors talk about the menstrual cycle. This is the time from one period to another, usually about 28 days. Day 1 of the menstrual cycle is the first day of a period. The uterus starts to shed its lining. As soon as the period ends, the uterus prepares again to receive a fertilized egg. Eggs are released from a woman's ovaries. Eggs are super tiny, 1/10 the size of a poppy seed. Women have 2 ovaries, one on each side. The fallopian tubes lead from each ovary to the uterus. In the middle of the menstrual cycle, an ovary releases an egg. After ovulation, the egg travels down the fallopian tube. It takes a few days to complete the journey. Meanwhile, the lining of the uterus gradually gets thicker so it can support the development of a fertilized egg. If the egg gets fertilized, it will implant in the uterus and the woman is pregnant. If the egg is not fertilized, the woman is not pregnant and the egg will begin to dissolve. Because the woman is not pregnant, the lining of the uterus is not needed. A woman will have her monthly period and the cycle begins again.
So hopefully that video helped sum up what I just talked about just a little bit more, and you can kind of see how the process works. So now let's talk about how twins work. So we keep talking about how every month we ovulate, we release an egg from our ovary, right? However, like, how do twins happen? This is how it happens, okay? If you have identical twins, the egg is released from the ovary, the sperm cell comes in contact with the egg, and it splits into 2, okay? So you have the same DNA from the mom and the dad, sperm cell and egg cell, but it's split into 2 different types, okay? This is how identical twins happen. How fraternal twins happen is if randomly, okay, an egg cell is released from the ovaries, but for whatever reason, more than one egg cell is released and more than one sperm cell come in contact with those multiple cells, then what happens is both of those eggs will implant in the uterus, and then that will happen. We're also going to talk about birth control methods today. I'm not going to make this video longer by going through them. I kind of want you to glance through them. How you can do this. If you go to your dashboard, you go to health, and you go to unit 2. Down here is a thing right here. It says contraceptive methods. It's going to open up a PDF. And it's going to list and explain the different types of contraceptive methods and birth control and stuff like that. I want you to read through these because I don't want to sit here and read them to you, and I feel like you can glance through them faster. It kind of gives you some good things and some bad things about the different methods. There's abstinence, IUD, implant, male condoms, female condoms, the ring, the patch, the pill, the shot, withdrawal, emergency contraception, and that's all that's listed on here, okay? When you're done reading through those, so you watch this Loom, you hear me talk, you read through those birth control contraceptive methods, then your assignment for the day is going to be the following. If you go to Canvas and you go to discussions, okay, there are 2 different discussion boards for today. You choose one of them that you are interested in. So read both of them. Whichever one you want to respond to is the one you'll do. So you can do condoms promote sexual activity. It explains the situation, respond to the question, okay? Then you can do option 2 if you want. Mixed messages from the school, read the situation, respond to the question. This is worth 10 points. You don't need to respond to anyone or anything like that. Just share your response out there. Keep in mind that other people in the class can see what you put, so make sure what you share you're comfortable with everyone in the class seeing. So that's menstruation, fertilization, birth control. I hope you guys hopefully have a better understanding of it for the future. Thank you guys. Make sure you do your assignment.